morning treat on Osbc television. We want to take the last segment on the program, which is sponsored by the Living Above Poverty organization, Lapo. It promises to be highly educating.
We at Lapo are committed to poverty eradication. We equally believe that the battle against poverty requires the effort of everyone.
Hello everyone and welcome to Bridging the Gap. My name is Patience Nauku Wanda. And Bridging the Gap comes to you from Lift Above Poverty organization Lapo. Lapo is a non-governmental organization with particular focus on women and health. And on today's program, we are going to be talking about men's role and involvement in maternal and child health care. You know that it's been said, some health persons, some health people have said that, or health analysts have said that the lack of male involvement in pregnancy-related care has been a contributing factor to maternal deaths, which happens to be, or which remains, a major public health issue, a major public health burden in developing countries, including Nigeria. And this morning, we are going to be discussing this issue with Dr. Tony Fabuya. Doctor, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Tony Fabuya is the Chief Medical Officer and the Wellness Clinic Coordinator of Medical Women Association, Edo State Chapter. So with her, we'll be looking at the issue of men's role and involvement in maternal and child health care. But before we go into our discussion, before we engage our guests in discussions, we are going to take the Lapo message. Please stay tuned. Welcome back from Lapo Message. All right, Doctor, let's look at what we mean by male partner involvement in maternal and child health care.
Thank you. Firstly, before I will answer that question, I want to say that maternal and child health are components of reproductive health. So we need to know what reproductive health is. Reproductive health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity in all matters related to reproductive system and its functions and processes. So when we are talking about male involvement in maternal and child health, we mean that it simply means that the participation of the fathers and men at all levels in caring, supporting, and encouraging women to utilize the available maternal, the reproductive, the newborn, and the child health services that are available.
All right, Doctor, I also want us to look at the statistics now. Let's look at how many maternal deaths do we have each year.
In fact, about 99% of maternal mortality rate happens or occurs in the developing country, including Nigeria. So in Nigeria, presently the current figure is about 576 per 100,000 life births. Although it is increasing, but it's still high. In fact, it is the fourth globally.
The fourth globally?
Yes.
That's Nigeria is the fourth globally?
Yes.
When it comes to maternal
deaths, yes.
What about neonatal infants mortality rates?
The neonatal deaths, we are referring to deaths of newborn within the period of 28 days. So, and this figure is about 35.5 per 1,000 life birth, which is still high.
That's quite high. What about, okay, let's go straight to the role. What role does a man play in pregnancy?
In fact, men play an important role, very, very important role. We know globally, in many of the contexts, men are usually the decision makers in the family, within the family setup. So their input, they have this important influence in some of the decisions regarding maybe allocation of money, the nutrition in the family, even to allow the women to even visit the healthcare for all these reproductive health services that we are making mention of. So they are the ones that will determine if the wife should go or not. So they have an important role to play.
Okay. So do men have a role in maternal newborn nursing?
Of course, yes, ma'am. I will say a capital yes. They have a big role to play, because with the help being involved in taking care of the newborn baby, it will serve as a great support, both physically and emotionally, to the mother, and it will also still encourage the mother to go for further services concerning herself, even the baby.
Doctor, let's look at the consequences now. The consequences of male partner exclusion in childbirth activities and also maternal and child health care.
The consequences ultimately will either make the maternal and the child mortality to remain the same, or even to increase, to get worse. Because if they are not being involved, if they lack knowledge concerning the reproductive, the maternal, the newborn and child health services that are available, the women will not be able to utilize these services ultimately, and it will affect the maternal mortality rate.
Okay, we'll take a short break here while we bring you the faces of Lapo. And when we come back, we'll be looking at the barriers to male involvement in maternal and child health care.
My name is Elizabeth. I'm from Kano State. I'm doing my business here. I started with Lapo. Lapo has been very nice and very good with me. It was since 2015 that we started. I started from kiosk to Basha, from Basha before I built this big shop there. It has been through the good efforts of Lapo. Anytime I go to their office for any help, they are always there for me. I cannot do without them. My success today is from Lapo. What I am today is from Lapo. Lapo has really put smiles on my face. Lapo has made me to empower other women. People are coming just to be empowered by Lapo. Lapo has been a good microfinance. I keep on introducing Lapo to other people that they should come. One thing with Lapo, the moment to start with Lapo, just use the money for the business, not for any other thing else. There is no way you will not make it. I always encourage other women that they should come and join the good incentive that I've been receiving from Lapo. Lapo gave my son a scholarship just because of how I am with them. Instead of me to use my money to eat my money, rather I'll use that money to clear off my loan and get another money to put into my shop. Their interest rate is nothing but just okay. As long as you can collect and you put it, is okay, no problem with the Lapo interest rate. My good advice for other women is that anytime they collect money from Lapo, they should use that money for investment, for their business. They should not use that money to go and buy rice, to go and buy chicken and cook. Rather, they should put the money for business and the money will grow as long as it is for business. Since they collect that money for business, that money should be for business. There's no way they will not grow with it.
Welcome back from Faces of Lapo. Doctor, let's look at the barriers. What are some of the barriers limiting men?
I will just quickly point to about 3 of them. The individual factors. The men especially, they lack knowledge or they have little knowledge concerning the maternal and child health care services that are even available for them to access. Then also because of their low educational attainment too, is part of it. Then by the time we now check out the healthcare facility setting too, we now find out that even at the healthcare, there's a kind of a way that they do exclude the men. Some men that follow their wife for antenatal care services, for example, they will be told to go and stay in one place, as if what they are going to discuss with the women is not their business or is not their concern. So those are kind of the barrier. And then the cultural factors. In fact, that one is a major barrier because the society sees men maybe that assist or support their wife as being weak, in quotes. So due to peer pressure and things like that, men will not want to, even though they have the ability and the will to even support their wives, they will feel, I beg, no, they not go call me woman lapa. So with that is a major barrier. The socio-cultural factor is a major barrier. And then the policy makers, that is at the government level now. So we found out that the policy that they make in a way also is not encouraging and does not even allow the men to be part of the healthcare services that are meant for their wives.
There is this perception that a man who accompanies his wife, for antenatal visits, that such a man, like you said, is weak, he's in quotes, a woman rapper. Yes, it's very common, especially in this part of the world. Yes. But I think that there is a kind of difference between what we have here and in the developed world, what is obtainable there.
Yes.
Over there, you see that even doctors, even healthcare workers, they encourage men to come for antenatal or for counseling with the doctors and all that. But like you said, in this part of if you get to any of the hospitals, you see that among 100 women or 50 women, you just find like 2 men. And like you said, they will just be asked to stay aside. They don't sit with their wives.
They don't listen to the talk. They are being excluded in a way.
They are not involved. Yes, they are not involved. So it's a major barrier that we have to look at ways of overcoming. Yes, in this part of the world. But let's also look at the factors that facilitate male involvement in pregnancies. What are some of those factors?
Some of
them are now looking at let's say, the solutions now.
Okay. Okay. If we are going to look at that aspect, we need to start from the individual.
Okay.
First of all, we need to educate the men and let them realize the importance of their being involved. Because even the men, they also have reproductive needs too and concern. And they should be they should be aware that their own health status and their behaviors will ultimately affect the women's reproductive health. So we need to educate them. In fact, we need to start the education early in life. That's the boys and the men, they should be involved. For example, in the school, to incorporate it into the school program,
Yes.
like the family life education, for example. They should intensify it in the schools. Let the boys know, even right from a young age, that there is need for him to be involved in the reproductive health of the family.
Yes, that's also a major aspect that we need to look at as a people. The area of the family. Yes, the family, the socialization process. From the boyhood, from boys, the as a
childhood.
Yes, from childhood.
Yes.
They should be incorporated.
Yes.
They should. I don't really understand why it's so. This perception. We just have this perception that everything that has to do with pregnancy is just the women
issue. In fact,
there is no, it's not saying men are not really, even if they are concerned, it's just maybe at home they ask their wives. But generally, that's the perception is there. That's it's just a woman's world. Everything that has to do with reproductive health. Even when you see couples who are
challenges,
having challenges in the area of maybe a pregnancy, you discover that the man sends the wife, or rather the woman sends herself to go and be looking for solutions, whereas the man could even be
the main factor.
The main factor.
Yes. And also, even at the community level, we still have a lot of work to do. At the community level, they need to educate the men, mostly even by their leaders, maybe like the community leaders, church leaders, because men tends to be more receptive to messages from their leaders. So if they are being carried along, even at the community level, it will go a long way for them to really understand the importance of them being part of the reproductive health of the family. They too have their own reproductive health issues, so it's not only women issue. That perception should be changed. We should change the narrative and the perception that anything that has to do with reproductive health is women issue. No, because the men has a big role to play.
I'd like us to look at the point of maybe a woman has given birth now. What is actually the role of the man in supporting?
First of all, they need to support that's the mother, that's the wife, their wives now. They need to support them emotionally, then physically, because they need a lot of support even at that stage. So they have to be involved. There are some situations that, especially at that early stage, the men will just vacate the room and say, I better go with your baby. This baby is just disturbing. No. So they should also be part of it. At night, they too should also be seen to be taking care of the baby too. So so they shouldn't leave it for their wives alone. So they should be part of the caring, especially at that early stage of nursing the newborn child. So they should be involved, and also they should be assisting the woman, that is the mother of the baby, physically, at least getting some things ready. There's nothing bad in that. Getting some things ready at home, maybe even preparing the mother's food, preparing, helping her maybe to carry the baby. If I mean, if you are going out, you can help her to carry the baby. You can even help her to carry some of the things. Remind her, you need to put, you have not put this one. It's part of the caring and supporting. So with that, they will be able to encourage the women. The women will be able to visit the clinic, maybe for all those immunization for the child, or if there's any need for the mother to visit the hospital concerning the newborn baby, they will be encouraged. So they will not, I mean, they will not see it as if it's their own problem. They are the only one that should do it.
And also the healthcare system. How is the healthcare? What do you think the healthcare, the healthcare now, the system, what do you think they should do to also encourage men to be involved?
Okay, first of all, they should make the clinic to be father friendly.
Okay.
By incorporating them, especially during that antenatal visit. In fact, they can, they can have a session for them. That's to educate them what their wives, what they are going through, even at that pregnancy stage, what they need to do. Once they are being carried along in that way, they will not find it difficult to even remind their wife, honey, next week is your antenatal visit. Please don't miss it. In fact, remind me so that we can go together. They will feel importance, they will feel encouraged to even be part of the system. So the hospital setting, the clinic setting, the health center setting should have a space for them to accommodate them, and they should be carried along.
There is this material that I read some time ago, where they talk about the support that women get from this antenatal care now, the exercises that they are required to do, to take them through the stages of labor, the role of the husband, what the man should, how the man should also be part of it. I discovered that we don't have such things here. We don't have such in this part of the world. We don't have such things like if a woman is about to, enter into the enter into the labor world now. The man is most times, oftentimes, you find the man outside.
Yes.
The man is not allowed to
Enter.
Yes, to enter. So I think all those things should also they should be looked into. Areas like that.
I agree with you, but they have to be policy.
Yes.
So that's where the government comes in. They have to be policy that will direct the health workers, the health facility, to make sure that they involve the men in all the stages of pregnancy, delivery, the newborn, the childhood, immunization, and even treatment. So they should be carried along. So a policy has to be made that will direct the healthcare facilities to effect such.
So what is now the way forward?
The way forward is for us to change the narrative and the perception that reproductive health is women issue. No. Men too has their own reproductive health concerns and needs. So they need to be involved, and they need to be aware that their own health status and their behavior indirectly or directly affects the women's reproductive health.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you for taking our time to come on the program this morning.
Thank you, ma.
Yeah. We've been talking about men's role and involvement in maternal and child health care. And we have discussed extensively on the benefits of men's involvement or male involvement in pregnancy-related care. We've also looked at the barriers to men's involvement and the consequences of male exclusion in pregnancy-related care. Indeed, the value of direct male involvement in reducing maternal deaths cannot be overestimated, especially given the crucial role that the African male place in in the family, especially when you talk about decision making. It becomes very, very essential for the male to be involved in maternal and child health care. And also, when a man is involved in pregnancy related care, it helps to improve the health and the welfare of the child. That's how we end the program for today. If you want to talk to us, you can do that through social media, or you can call our numbers on the screen. You can also send us text messages, and you can visit any of our offices or our corporate head office at number 18 Dancing Road, Benin City. Till we come your way again, do have a lovely day. Bye.
Yes, this is the convenient spot to draw curtains on today's edition of Saturday Morning Treat on Osbc Television. I hope you have enjoyed every bit of the program, hoping to reunite on this program by the grace of God next Saturday morning. Bumi Ajiboye is also here to say bye on the program.
Yes, and we promise to bring you a more interesting edition of SMT next week. And we are saying goodbye this morning. I am Olubumi Ajiboye Agbola. Do join us next week for another edition of the program. Till then.